This was always going to be a very, very tough match because not only the fact that it's a derby, I think you all know each situation of each coach, the league positions of each team, having to work with the players to try and build that confidence and that morale in training leading up to the game. So a lot of pressure on the players, a lot of pressure on everyone, even the club owners, about this game today. And I think our planning and our preparation was solid, even though we warned the players that they're going to look to try and purely hit you on the counter when you lose the ball. Very important, our counter press, when that happens, don't allow them to play the direct ball, the early ball. Look to force them into another pass. And unfortunately, we concede that early goal. But I think, we've been in this situation where we've come back before. And I think the players went to that. We responded well. I actually thought we had 2 handball shouts in the first half, not only the one. And I felt once we got that equalizer, we would now turn the game around and we would control it a lot better. First half, the main concern that I had is that they were laying those traps through the middle, and we were still continuously looking to play those balls. And we allowed them the opportunity of creating 1 or 2 difficult situations for us. We looked to fix that at halftime, and the response was good. We needed to stretch them a lot more. The goals come from the wide areas, so sometimes it may look obvious, and I say use the width, but that's what we needed to do because they knew our threat was through the middle. And once we started to do that, we opened them up, and we could have ended up winning this very, very comfortably, even though we did get the 3 goals. But I thought we could have got a 4th or even possibly a 5th, So great response from the players, the work ethic. Today, they showed the fight and the desire, which they needed to show, especially against a team of this nature. We play them quite often in friendlies preseason. And what tends to happen is you drop your level, and we spoke about the importance of that not happening today. We need to maintain our level, and even if their level's down here, we don't care. This is our level. You either come up to us or we smash you. And that was the logic that we showed today.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Take some questions.
Just to speak about maintaining the level, are you happy with performance today?
Yeah, I think so. It's just like I said, in that first half, we started forcing through the middle too much, which obviously then put Zapata under a lot of pressure, and he gave a ball away very, very cheaply, and he was struggling really to get himself into the game, and I felt, I needed to bring someone who's a little bit sharper in the small spaces, sees things a little bit quicker in Kutumela. But once we started using the width a lot better, Jaden first half, I felt he could have hurt Nazir Ali a little bit more in 1v1 situations, but he started a little bit jittery. But as the game evolved, he got better, especially when I switched him from the left-hand side, our left-hand side, to the right-hand side. And the same with Darwin, because, like I said, we needed to play with the width. So it wasn't about the wingers cutting in. It was about getting out wide, putting in the cross. And Darwin has a natural left foot. In fact, he's both-footed, so he can play either side. And Jaden is normally right foot. He doesn't really like using his left. So, I thought everybody responded really, really well. A lot more aggression from Mayo, a lot more of those runs in behind. He had 2 or 3 runs in behind where a little bit of more composure, possibly he could have created better scoring chances than what he had.
Okay, Mr. Gleeson.
Just on a different theme, Eric, no penalties last season. Now you finally get one. A, what was that like? And secondly, did you feel last season that, was it just a summation of the campaign, did you deserve a penalty somewhere along the line, or just one of those big things where there was never really an opportunity?
No, I think last season I can remember 2 or 3 situations where we deserved a penalty. Let me go, not only in the PSL, we deserved one against Algiers. That was clear as daylight, and that never happened. But I do remember, 2 or 3 situations in the league itself where I felt we deserved, but it wasn't for any handball incident. It was more contact inside the box. Tonight, like I said, there was one prior to the one he gave that I felt should have been a penalty as well, even though, yes, it came off his head, but his hand wasn't in the natural position. Came off his head, then he used his arm, so I felt that should have been a penalty. And then I watched, obviously, when I came out. It was definitely a handball, was definitely a penalty, the one we did get. But yeah, the standard, I think, has to get better. I keep saying that. And the handball rule, I think we're all bemused by it. I don't think anybody understands the new handball rule. I'm still baffled how it works.
Rob?
Coach, moving obviously into the right side of the table now. It's been a long couple of 2 months. I mean, from those first two weeks in August. Just how much of a relief has this result brought for you and the team? And how much can you build on it now? I mean, I'm thinking the last 2 seasons, you also had these starts.
Yeah, but I don't look at the table like you guys look at the table. You guys look at the table, oh, you're sitting in 13th position. I look at the table, okay, where am I? I'm sitting 13th, but I win today, I'm top 8. And I win next week, I'm second. Or I'm 1 point away from second. So if I just look at the table and say, oh shit, we're sitting in 13th, then I'm not being realistic. I look at the league table and I say, but Jesus, we're not far off. That's how I assess it. And I say, one more win, yeah. You jump the table, all the pressure's released, the sensationalism, leave it to you guys, don't get involved, and move on.
Coach, in terms of efficiency, just
Efficiency.
in terms of their efficiency,
There's.
is there a better tool in terms of, I mean, when you look at their ages than Jaden and Nicole? I mean, what they offer you and just how they've done what you expect of them.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a blend of youth and experience. If you just go with youth, they lack the knowledge, they lack the game management side of the game, and the older players can help them. So I use us as an example with Mark Van Heerden, who's a key player, Tami Mkize, key player in our squad, because they create that balance. But I think it's also important to recognize when one of your senior players can still carry the team on the pitch. And I'd done that actually with Vincent Kabolo in the first season as an example, where I still believed that Vincent was an important member of the squad, but I didn't use Vincent as often as I did, purely because I knew lasting 90 minutes wouldn't be an easy task for him. And especially the way our league is set up of late, you play every 3 days. It's not easy, and you've got to have a good blend. And I think possibly them, I don't like talking about other teams, and I feel for Shaun. I really, really feel for Shaun. But I think, they needed to bring in a little bit of more youth and when I say youth, someone 25, 26, 27 with a bit more experience to help Shaun, because I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Coach, about that. What would be your advice to you in this moment? I mean, 7 games.
I already spoke to him after the game. I said, one thing, you must control what you can control, which is your level of professionalism, what you do every day when you come in and you train your team, and continue with that belief that what you're doing is is right, because the game of football can be cruel, very, very cruel, especially for coaches, so I feel for him. I had a conversation the other night about, you see what's happening at Barcelona, you see what's happening at Ajax Amsterdam. They're sitting poorly in the league. Barca's now under threat of having to close doors. And it's difficult for those teams to compete when you're just using youngsters. That's just a fact, and development comes through phases. It doesn't just happen. You get phases where a group of players come through and they're all talented and they all mature and they come into the team and they integrated quite easily. But then there's going to be others that take time. And unfortunately, we're in the business of now. We want results now. So that's one side of the game that's changed, in my opinion, which is sad.
Coach, you spoke earlier about the fact that the key message before the game was for the players not to drop their leg out. So do you think maybe Spurs scoring early helped your cause in terms of sort of delivered your halftime message to the players? So this one was talking about.
Yeah. I don't like saying "I told you so" as a coach, because we warned them of that threat, and we got caught very, very early in the game. But then I need to analyze it a lot more, because unfortunately this is not the first time that this has happened now, where we've found ourselves on the back foot very early in the game. So it's obviously something that we need to assess and study as to what is the cause and what is the reason. Because even in the second half, if I must be brutally honest, they started the second half a little bit brighter and a little bit sharper than us, and they created one or two dangerous situations. And it was only after that we responded, So important for them to understand that, no, there you're allowing yourself to drop to that level, for those 2 minutes, and it can be costly. You've got to maintain that high level of concentration, that high level of consistency in terms of how we play, and so that is just post-match analysis. Sit with them, explain where was the good, where was the bad, how we can fix it.
Listen.
Just moving on to the Chiefs game, obviously you haven't really had time to talk about it, but one would presume there'd be a buzz in your squad about fixing perhaps the disappointment of what happened in the MTN 8 and that early right at the end.
Yeah.
Do you feel that perhaps you were much the better team and that that's a very winnable game despite the fact that Chiefs have improved markedly over the last 2 games?
Yeah, I think we go back to that. I don't think we deserved to lose. I think we created the better chances in the 90 minutes. We had majority of the possession. We had majority of the box entries, majority of final third entries. And again, a team that seems to play against us on the counter attack tends to hurt us, But I think we have got better in that area. And then I agree with you. I think they're slightly different now from when we played them in the beginning. I think they've got a lot more structure, a lot more organization. Defensively, I think they still have frailties that we obviously need to explore. But I think going forward, they're very organized and a threatening team. So defensively, we're going to have to be sound against them. But offensively, we need to play our brand of football, and they've struggled against us in the past because of how we play and the formation and the system we use. So we've got to try and use that to our benefit.
Sandile.
Who's just on with your own guys, Mark and Terry, how you structure and how you play, is that present them more? Have you found that useful in terms of how
Yeah, both of them were fullbacks in their day, and proper fullbacks looking to get forward. Both Mark and Timmy are wingbacks that like to get up and down, But now you're playing them as left and right centre backs in a different system. Sometimes it's difficult to contain them because they naturally want to get forward. And when we score, then I'm happy they did it. When we concede, then I'm unhappy that they were doing it. That's the coaching side of things. But yeah, to a degree, it's slightly less work that they have to do. The wingers now in our system have to do a lot of work. So they need legs, I'm trying to preserve those.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, coach.